We're here again, and today we're going to be pulling the driver's side mirror off of a Ford F-150 2010 pickup truck because we broke ours. So the problem is that there are no videos on YouTube on how to access the inside of the Ford F-150 2010 work truck with the manual window cranks. There is no video, so we're going to go ahead and shoot a video for that, show you how you can do that yourself, and we'll show you how to pull the door panel off so you can access the bolts to replace a mirror. So here we have our Ford F-150 work truck. It's obviously got a broken mirror, our doing, but the problem with this is that with the Ford F-150 work truck model, it's one of the few that didn't have a crew cab, and it has a manual window crank, which was kind of tricky to figure out how to get that off. So we're going to get this off, and then we're going to pull this door panel. It's really easy to replace the mirror. It's just 3 bolts. There's no reason to pay anybody to do this kind of stuff. So I'm going to go through the process as to what to do to pull these apart. First thing we got to do is get this door crank off of here. So I was mentioning the first thing we got to do is get this doorknob off of here, this window crank. There's all kinds of tools you can use to do this. I've got a couple of tire removal tools for a motorcycle tire. I'm going to just take them and I'm going to set them back behind this little knob right here. The knob just pops right off. The trick is, got to get something behind it to do it, and it'll just pop off of there. I'm going to throw that down in here so I don't lose it. This is just a cover, and it's just going to slide right off. Once you do that, it exposes the screw. Get in here with a screwdriver or this is going to take a Torx, something like a T25, the small one. So we'll get that off of there. Once that's off of there, we'll move on. Alrighty. So when I mentioned Torx, these are the types of things I'm talking about. Different star type hit bits that they introduced just seemingly to make our lives more difficult. So now every stupid thing in the world's got a different size one on it. So you got to carry one of these things around with you everywhere you go so that you can get the right size. Anyways, I'll just pick out the right size one, take that thing off of there. So these 2 little screws down here at the bottom, so a 6mm socket was the right tool for this one. So you just run those screws out. There you go, little tiny 6mm screw. There's 2 of them. Run those out. Again, pretty simple. Once they're broke loose, you can spin them out by hand. I like to save my screws because the little buggers have been locked up in there so long. Funny thing about screws are, once you got them out of the hole, they have a crazy tendency to just run off on you. So you can't find them little buggers if you lose them. So good idea to put those back in the holes. You'll notice here on the door handle that I put that screw back in there. If it's in there, it'll be there when I put the handle back on. If I put it down somewhere else, it's gone forever. Alright, so I think now all I got to do, I'll pull this cover, which you can't see right now because the camera's the wrong angle. So that panel right there, behind the door pull, this is supposed to pop off with the screwdriver. Let me see if I can get that off of there, find the nuts behind it. So here we go again. I'm working with this little panel back here behind the door handle. Okay, I got myself a nice flat-bladed screwdriver, long handle, thin blade, real narrow. So this one, you're going to get behind here, pull this out 90 degrees, come in right in the middle, push, because this is the only place you can get to. There's a clip at the bottom, a clip at the top, and a clip at the end. The only place you got space to get a screwdriver in there without damaging anything is here at the end. So you get there in the end and pull this thing out like so, that'll pop right out. Notice 3 tabs, 1, 2, 3, top, bottom, end. The one you're after was this one. Pop it out. That exposes the screw behind it. Pull this screw out. That door handle, that door panel should just pull right off. Now we've got what I figure to be some of the craziest stuff in the world. And I don't know why car companies do this, especially titular American car companies like Ford. But these bottom screws were 6mm. Go figure. What's this screw? 5/16. So you get a 5/16, roll that screw out of there. That should unaffix the door panel. Let me see if I can just yank it off. Well, after not being able to get the door panel off, I discovered the sneaky little buggers. They stuck another little hidden screw panel in here. Same technique, get your screwdriver down, pop these two little tabs at the top, get in, pop it off. That come off, another 5/16 screw to pull out. So I got this screw out of the door handle. Now you're just gonna grab the bottom of this thing, give her a lift, and this whole thing should just pull off of the clips and pop off just like that. Now there is some electrical stuff behind here, even though this is a manual truck. Oh, that's not electrical, that's a door lock. For what we're doing, it ain't gonna matter. We'll just take that, set it up here out of the way. There you go, you can see that cable for the door handle. Now all I'm gonna do is pull these 3 bolts, pull that mirror off, put it back on. Are they 5/16? No. Are they 6mm? No. 7/16. Why put metrics in the bottom and then use standard size for the rest? Wish they'd source their stuff from one country. So keeping in mind, this here is the work truck model. There's no fancy electrical connections or any kind of mechanical stuff behind the mirror. You want to adjust the mirror, it's like the 1950s. You got to reach out through the window and move it. So that's that. That's this. We'll get the replacement mirror right here, which I set on the hook. And all things considered, this should work out okay. Now this was set up. It was a factory style replacement. The other mirror didn't have this little panel. They have like turn signals and backup lights in these little panels right here. So this has a hole for a electrical connection that this truck doesn't have. So we just ignore that. Slide her in. So with a little luck and God willing, which he was, everything goes back together. Hand thread your nuts on first so you don't cross thread them. Get them on 3 or 4 turns before you start putting a socket wrench on those to tighten them down. When you're tightening up these 3 bolts, after you put your mirror back in there and get everything snugged up or spun on by hand, make sure you don't over tighten these things. They do butt up. It takes a little while tightening them and spinning them down to finally reach the bottom. But when they shoulder up, don't over tighten them. You'll break something or you'll bend this metal. It's not really designed for that. So you'll notice in the 2010, the speaker's attached to the door frame, not the door panel. So I didn't have to pull the speaker loose. In the earlier models, you have to pull the speaker loose first. And there's a cover that comes off the speaker. Take a screwdriver behind, pull that cover off. You have to pull the speaker mounts out. You don't have to do that with this in the 2010 with the speaker mounts to the door. Then there's tabs on the back of this thing. So when you go to put this door panel back on, which we're going to have to do right now, make sure that all of these little tabs, and you'll see them here, they got hooks in them. These hooks have to insert into these holes on the door. Slide them in, push them down, everything will go back in place just fine. Couple of tricks with putting this door panel back on. There's 4 hooks across the bottom. Put those in first, they line everything else up. Watch yourself, put the door in at an angle, door panel in at an angle like this, tilt it back. Then you're gonna have problems with the door lock. This door lock mechanism right here, this was my hardest part. I got the panel back on, but lining that door lock on there up in that hole took 3 or 4 tries. I actually ended up needing to push back with my elbows, pry this out with my hands, and slip it over the top of the doorknob, door lock mechanism doobob here. Now, once everything's put down there, got it going, there you go, pops right up. So now we'll just do the reverse of everything we did before. We'll put these screws back in, put this back together, put the screws in the bottom, put the panels back on. We're done. Right here, we have another tinker job finished. A little dirt on my wife's truck there. She probably wouldn't be too happy. Try not to scratch stuff up on her vehicle. She gets a little madder than I would. Anyway, old mirror, shot. New mirror, right there. Looks good. Everything's wonderful. We're happy campers. And all functional. Thanks for watching. If you like my videos, please remember to hit the like button there. Doesn't cost you nothing. Helps me. And if you want to see more Tinker videos, I'm doing all kinds of stuff. Never know what I'm going to post. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. You'll get notifications.